Okay, I'm going to talk about problems and solutions and kind of the nature of them. Okay, so the biggest problems we have in society are very complex, right? And because they're complex, they're going to require complex solutions. Okay, the contributors in this video, I'm just going to use climate change as an example to kind of lay out to this concept of the the nature of complexity in regard to problems and solutions. So climate change is a complex problem. There are a lot of things contributing to it, right? If you agree with the current science, then you agree that, well, climate change is primarily being caused by man-made actions, right? And that's a complex problem. There's a lot of different things contributing to it. So we could say that we all drive to work. We all have our gas guzzling cars, and we all drive them to work in alone, right? We're the only one in the car. Drive to work, drive back. Our job is 30 minutes away. We have to drive 30 minutes both ways. And then maybe we got to go to the store, and the store's another 10, 15 minutes away from our house. That's one way that we contribute to climate change, right? But what's another? Well, we kind of have all these population centers who are they're very far away from where the food's grown, right? So we have to that's a big inefficiency, right? We have to transport all of this food to where all the people live, right? What's another way? Well, we have corporations polluting, right? And that's a whole nother problem contributing to climate change. We have people eating a lot of meat, right? And the production of that cattle, it contributes to climate change in a huge way, right? Now, this is a very complex problem. We have a lot of things, a lot of man-made actions that are going into this problem. We've built our entire economy, we built the production of all of our needs, our very food, on uh, this, or in such a way that is contributing to this climate change problem, right? So if we try to come up with a solution, if one person, or say one group of scientists or one think tank, tries to come up with a solution to this problem, what are they going to do? Well, they're not going to be able to fully grasp the complexity of the problem. They're going to try to come up with one or two solutions to the problem. And what I mean by that is you have this think tank or a group of scientists who's saying, well, we all have to become vegans by 2030, or the oceans are going to boil, right? Or the sea levels are going to rise, and there's going to be a mass exodus away from population centers on the coast, or something like that. So what we're doing is we're trying to come up with one solution to this massive problem. We're trying to force everybody to adopt a vegan diet, for example. Or as another example, say we have to stop driving cars. Everyone has to start riding a bike tomorrow. Or again, the oceans are going to boil by 2030. What we're trying to do is we're trying to come up with one easy solution, not an easy solution, but one solution to a complex problem. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. It never has worked. That's not how we fix problems. You fix problems by complex problems by coming out with complex solutions. So what that means is that the people who can ride a bike to work or to the store need to do that. The people who can have a farm in their backyard, the people who can grow a garden, need to do that. The people who, I don't know, for example, the people who are okay with eating less meat, they can do that. The people who can go out and hunt their food can do that, right? There's a lot of deer in Ohio in particular, and if we want to keep that deer population under control, there's no natural predators except us, so we hunt them, right, and we eat them. So you can't force everybody to hunt their own food. The deer population would be gone in a matter of months, right? But if we each pick our own solutions to this problem, then we come up with complex solutions. But again, it's very hard to direct that solution from the top down. You can't have a government body forcing everyone to ride a bike, reduce meat consumption, hunt their own food, You can't force everyone to do every solution. It's just not practical. You have to, there's an aspect of personal responsibility here. Everybody has to pick the solution that they can play a part in, that they can contribute to in order to fix the complex problem. So pick your solution. In truth, we have to kind of agree, for example, that climate change is a problem. If we can't agree that climate change is a problem, then what are you going to do? Are you going to keep pointing the finger at the person who's eating the processed meat, or who's driving their Tahoe to 30 miles to work every day? You can point the finger at them, but you'd be better off uh, spending your time making your contributions to the solution. You'd be better off spending your time leading by example. Okay, actions speak louder than words. If you start riding a bike, if you start hunting your own food, processing your deer meat or whatever, if you start whatever it may be, if you start to try to transform your company into a green company, right, into a more sustainable pathway, then again you're leading by example. And in truth, it's not going to be comfortable. These solutions that we have to choose to solve these complex problems, they're going to require us to give up comforts. Whether it's again riding a bike to work, or turning your air conditioning down during the summer, or turning the lights off, right? It's there's a lot of simple things we can all do, right? We can all turn the lights off, but maybe we all don't have the ability to ride a bike to work every day. Maybe we all don't have the ability to completely become vegan, right? I mean, the truth is, a vegan diet requires a lot of attention. You have to be paying attention to what nutrients you're getting. You have to make sure you're getting that B12, right? And maybe not everybody has the know-how to do that. Maybe we don't force them to. Maybe instead we encourage them to hunt a little bit of their food. We encourage them to buy that grass-fed beef. And yes, it's more expensive, but the way that economies of scale work is that the more we buy that organic grass-fed food, the cheaper those foods get. Because again, economies of scale improve the efficiency of production, and that drives the prices down. It increases the supply and drives the prices down. So do what you can, okay? And above all, don't point the finger at the people who are not doing what they can, because it's not going to help. And that criticism, when you give it out to people, it doesn't work. It kind of just it kind of fires back on you in a way. It's going to make them feel like they're victimized, as opposed to them seeing somebody else make a change in their life, and that encouraging them to make their own change. So this, again, the climate change example was just one example. We could apply this to anything in reality. We could say that all of these wars are bad, and wars, I mean, the bombs surely contribute to climate change, right? But it's not even that so much. It's the violence, right? It's the division that these wars cause. And the U.S. in particular, we have all this money going into the defense budget, with quotes, right? And we have this imperialist regime and this military-industrial complex that is pulling resources away from the people who need it in the United States. And beyond that, the people we are bombing often need those resources worse than we do. And the very reason we're bombing them is because they don't have their needs met. The very reason that Gazans, or that the Gaza Strip and Hamas are attacking Israel, is because Israel puts a blockade on Gaza, and now they can't get their needs met. The employment rates are through the roof. So what do? Well, they get violent. That backlash, it comes back onto Israel, and now Israel is attacking them, and this just escalates this violent cycle, this vicious cycle of war. And if instead we look for the complex solution to this problem, what do you do in America as a person who is ultimately funding this Israel with your tax dollars? What do? Well, you start voting for different people. It's not a huge action you can take, but the bottom line is we're voting for the wrong people because we are funding this war. And this war is pulling our resources away from us and away from people who need it elsewhere, right? Just do what you can. You just have to don't make yourself a victim. Don't don't make the world out to be some helpless, chaotic cycle that we can't change. You have to be the change you want to see in the world. And if you just make little differences, if you're just kind to people, what'll happen is other people will see your kindness, they'll see your actions, and they will choose their own actions in a way they see fit to make their own change to the world. And the truth is we're all, so long as you're not a psychopath, we we all have the same goal here. We just want to live in harmony. We just want to have our needs met. We want to be comfortable, and we just want to enjoy our time here. That is ultimately something we can all agree on. Most people, again, if you're not a psychopath. So do your part in fixing the problems that keep us from that harmony. And again, that by and large, that can be contributed to the war, right? How do you contribute to that war? Ask yourself that question. How do you contribute to climate change and any other problem that you may see out there? Whatever it may be. The bottom line is that most of the world's problems come down to division and a lack of consensus on how to solve that division. But it's the division that's the problem. If you set the division aside and just decide to go about solving problems in your own way, those problems will disappear one way or another. You don't have to listen to, you don't have to do every solution that's out there. Again, we don't find one scalable solution to any problem, any complex problem. We combine solutions to create scale. Okay, give that a little thought. Thanks for watching.